Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another amazing video by yours truly, Scott Tyler. Today, guys, we have a pretty epic video. I'm going to be talking about my gaming PC that I custom built in, I think it was like roughly December of 2020, holiday season. I'm going to be going over all the parts that I have for my build, and if you're interested in these parts, you can find most of these on Amazon and other PC part websites. So I will probably add these to a kit in the description, or either link them on Amazon, or maybe just the major components I list here, since some of these are pretty minor. But if you guys want to like use any of these parts in your build, by all means you can do so. So I'll be going through the parts that I picked, some B-roll going over this video. If you guys enjoyed this kind of content, make sure to subscribe, hit the like button. Road to 1,000 subscribers. We're almost there. We're at 391 right now. So please, if you're new here, let's get that subscriber number up so we can shoot for 1,000. Let's get it. So yeah, so the main reason why I actually built my computer, I think that's kind of important to go over as well, is basically I wanted a workstation to do all my editing and filming and all that kind of stuff, as well as to use for studying. That's kind of a byproduct of it. But yeah, so I got this mainly for video editing, and it's been going great so far. I use Filmora 10 at the moment. It's my favorite preferred editing software. I also use it a little for content creation as well as gaming, but that's pretty minor for the most part. It's a lot of like mainly for content creation purposes. Like, it's a workstation. I can also live stream on it. I do have pretty good internet as well. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into the major components of my computer, and I'll probably put like a little text thing up just so you know what I'm talking about. Number one is the monitor. So this actually isn't part of the computer itself. This is just the external display. I went with a Scepter monitor. So I've never actually used a Scepter monitor, but this one got amazing reviews. So I was like, okay, maybe I'll go for it, right? Let's see how it does. I wanted something above 60 hertz just because I've seen displays above 60 hertz before, and once you go that route, you can't really go back. So I wanted one. So my minimum was 75 hertz, and that's like, you can't really tell a difference from what I've heard. And honestly, I think you can like overclock displays to make it look like it's 75 hertz on a 60 hertz panel. But I went above and beyond, even above 144 hertz. I got a 165 hertz Scepter monitor. This is the E255B-16585 25-inch monitor. It comes with like an audio output in the back of the computer, which I have hooked up to one of my speakers. It's pretty low-end speakers, only like 20 bucks at Best Buy, but does the job and has pretty good audio quality. So yeah, this computer, not going into too many specs. It has great color accuracy. It's a TN panel. It's not glossy, but it has like 2 HDMI ports and then 1 display port in the back, as well as the audio output. 25 inches is perfect for me, and overall I love this monitor, mainly due to the clarity, the color accuracy, as well as the high refresh, which I can notice. Let's move on to like actually, and I will say one thing is I do not have an Ethernet cable or a LAN port in my room, like so I can hook it up to a router and get wired internet. However, I did get sent a like wireless like transmitter. It's not really a transmitter, it's more like a wireless extender that connects to my Wi-Fi, which is in the basement, and then from there I can plug in an Ethernet to my computer. So basically it's like way faster than if I were to just use like a standard like USB Wi-Fi adapter to basically give my computer internet. Like, I tried that before and I couldn't stand it because the connection was so like iffy and so and it was like finicky. So I went with that, which a company sent me for free, and my internet's way better now, and I can upload videos way faster and download stuff way faster. But in terms of the case, I went with the NZXT H510. This is like the most basic like case you can get on PC Part Picker. I got it all matte black, which is my favorite color. This case got amazing reviews just because like of the simplicity, and it's very versatile, and it does support a USB Type-C port in the front. However, my motherboard didn't support that, so I can't even use the USB-C port. But it came with 2 fans, top and the back. And overall, I like the sleekness and minimal design of this case. Tempered glass side panel, I like it, and great cable management right out of the box. Next, in terms of power supply, This wasn't like a main priority for me, but I wanted something 650 watts minimum. But I kind of knew like I was never going to actually use anything larger than that. So I went with the Seasonic S12 3650 SSR and then a bunch of other numbers. So this basically came with a bunch of cables, 650 watts, 80 plus bronze ATX 12 volt and EPS 12 volt direct cable wire output and smart silent fan control power supply. So 650 watts, it comes with a fan. The fan is super quiet. I can never hear it. And yeah, it comes with a gazillion cables coming out the back of it, and there's plenty of them, so I had no issues with that. And it was overall pretty small power supply, fit right into my computer, and no issues with it. That's basically all I really have to say about the power supply. That's not the most exciting thing. What is exciting is the CPU, and that's probably one of the most important parts of this computer. I went with a Ryzen build, AMD. Ryzen 7 actually. I got the Ryzen 7 3800X 8-core 16-thread processor, way better than Intel in my opinion. I mean, it's subjective opinion, but AMD has shown to be more powerful than Intel processors recently for less money. So it was a no-brainer for me to go with AMD. Been an Intel guy my whole life, and I was like, why don't I switch? Why don't I give it a shot? So I did, and yeah, never looking back. This is one of the most powerful processors I've ever seen. And it came with a fan out of the box, which I did use for a while. And I'll talk about my fan a little bit later. But I did use that AMD fan. I forget what the specific name is of it, but it's the basic AMD fan that comes with the CPU. It was free, so I didn't have to buy a separate fan when I bought my computer. I do have an actual dedicated fan though, which I will talk about. Graphics card, also one of the most important things. I went with a Sapphire Pulse Radeon RX 580, 8 gigabytes of DDR5 RAM. So this is an RX 580, however, it's like one of the most powerful RX 580s that they make out there. I watched several reviews on this. I got it for I think $280 at the time, or maybe it was around 200. Not too sure, but now it runs for literally like $665 on Amazon. So if I wanted to make a profit on this, I could and just buy a better graphics card, but it does the trick for me. It's fine for gaming. I can do 1080p, like high settings on almost everything, and get well above 100 frames per second. And it's also great for GPU accelerated hardware encoding when I'm editing, and it helps speed up those processes. But yeah, it's a good looking graphics card. It's got a case with a dual fan system, and I think it's pretty speedy for the money. I wouldn't pay $665 for it though. Next up on their list is RAM. This isn't the most important thing, but I went with Team Group T-Force Vulcan Z RAM. And if this just loads really quickly, it's DDR4 RAM, and I got two 8 gigabyte sticks, so it's dual channel, and this was 3200 megahertz speed. I don't think my computer's actually using the full RAM speed right now. I think I'd have to overclock it. I think I'm running at like 25 or 28 megahertz. So it's good RAM, it's not RGB, it gets the job done. I've never really had an issue with like RAM management on my computer. I've never really come close to hitting 16 gigs. Maybe in the future, if like games become more demanding or applications become more demanding, I could upgrade to, I was gonna say 64, 32, but as of now, I don't need to. Next up on our list, we have the motherboard I got. Not the most exciting thing, but people tend to be kind of curious about this, if this would load. I went with a Gigabit motherboard. This is the BM550M DS3H. So it was an AMD Micro ATX motherboard. So it has a bunch of ports, USB 3.2 Gen 1 PCLE. Obviously, I don't claim to be a PC expert, as you can tell probably in this video, but I knew enough to build the computer. HDMI, DVI, DDR4 motherboard. It's got everything. It's Micro ATX, so sadly didn't support the USB Type-C for my case, but it's not the end of the world. And it's pretty good motherboard in my opinion. It was fairly simple when I was actually building the computer. I knew everything was. I also bought two additional fans in addition to the CPU fan and the two fans that came pre-installed in the case. These ones I would really recommend because they're cheap and they're RGB. I got them for I think 35 bucks. So these were the InWin Serious Loop addressable RGB triple fans, so you basically get 3 fans for only 35 bucks, and you can control them all. I think with software, and they have a built-in clicker to change the RGBs. That's what I did. I just turned it to green. My favorite color is like fluorescent green, so I turned it to that. And also my CPU cooler has RGBs, so that's also green. Next on our list, storage. So I'm a fan of having a large hard drive to store big files on, and then a smaller SSD to put Windows on and other commonly used applications, usually like editing softwares, OBS, stuff like that. Or maybe games usually go on my hard drive just because I don't really care how fast games load up, and plus they're massive in size. But so to put Windows on and speed up my whole computer and have files load faster, I went with the Western Digital 500 gigabyte WD Blue 3D internal PC SSD. This is one of those like gum stick SATA SSDs. It's M.2. Stick it right in your motherboard and it works perfectly fine. This thing is super fast. It's up to 560 megabits per second, which is absolutely nuts. I would highly recommend this one, and it wasn't that expensive. It was like 67 bucks. So it's up to you guys if you want to pick it up. For the hard drive, I went with the standard one you find on like literally every PC build because it's budget. And this is the Seagate Barracuda 2 terabyte internal hard drive. So in total, I have 2.5 terabytes of storage. I don't think I'm ever going to use that up. But yeah, this is a 3.5-inch drive. I installed it in my computer, screwed it in, plugged it into my motherboard so it could recognize it, and I went from there. And honestly, like, it was only 55 bucks. How can you say no to that for that much storage? I think this is, 7,200 RPM, so it's like decently fast for a hard drive. It's not like insanely fast, but you can put literally anything on here, and this is like the most highly recommended one on PCPartPicker.com. Like, it's at the top of the list. Everyone wants it. So in terms of my CPU cooler, as I said, I changed it. If I could just go to that really quickly, I went with a Cooler Master. This was like the #1 rated CPU cooler, like budget. Bear in mind, budget CPU cooler. So it was a Cooler Master Hyper 212 RGB Black Edition. So it comes with an RGB fan that you attach on the side, way bigger than the original fan I had that just came stock with my CPU. And I noticed my computer was like getting hotter than normal, and the fans were really kicking up, and the fan was loud, and I was like, I don't like this. So I was like, I want to get a fan that's much, much quieter and also keeps my computer cooler so it can actually perform better. So I got this one. Wasn't that difficult to install. I would say putting the thermal paste was simple, and luckily it comes with thermal paste, but actually like installing, not the fan was easy just because you clip that on the side, but the main portion of the cooler where it actually like meets contact with the CPU was kind of a pain to install, especially screwing in all 4 corners of it. I really had to like sit there and bend and put a ton of pressure on to actually like get the screws to actually connect with my case. Eventually I got it, and obviously like I'm not gonna have to touch that for a while, but that's just something to keep in mind. I have other components of my computer, obviously my keyboard and Razer Mamba wireless mouse, and also Logitech webcam, and my Blue Yeti and headphones, but I'm not gonna go too much in depth with those. Those are the major components of my system right now. If I missed anything, I'll definitely let you guys know in a future upload, but hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. This was fun to make, and yeah, I'll put a link to these in the description down below if you guys want to pick up any of these parts and implement them into your PC build. So if you guys enjoyed this video, please make sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification. If you'd like to support me, there are links in the description to help support me. One of those ways is through Amazon affiliate marketing, as well as Acorns. If you sign up through Acorns, I get a commission off that, so use my link if you want to get started with investing. Highly recommend it. Probably going to be doing a video on note-taking next, productivity sort of thing, for my Samsung Galaxy Tab S7, which I'm excited about. And we will go from there, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate all you guys sticking around, watching my content. I appreciate you guys. Road to 1,000 subs. Let's get it. Peace out.